Hey everybody, Jason here. Hey, listen, little shout out and a heads up that I'm finishing up Wealth Coffee Chats. Yeah, I know I can hear you being sad about that already. On the 19th of December, I'm going to have a bit of a break. I'm sure you are too. And I'll be starting back. So finishing on the 19th and starting back on the 23rd of January. But don't fear, never fear. We have we've grabbed the best of this year. And we're going to be doing some replays, live replays. I don't know. Does that make sense? Live replays. Anyway, we're going to do some reminders of some of the best content of this year so you can get your fix over the break and maybe refresh, remind yourself, focus in on the things that we had some aha moments throughout the year, some real, understandings of what it takes to become a property investor. You guys know the drill. We've got a couple of sayings around here. This thing's a marathon, not a sprint. And, you need to buy something well and don't bloody sell. Anyway, there you go, folks. Merry Christmas. Have an awesome, awesome break. Happy New Year. And look forward to catching up with you when I kick off again in January on the 23rd, 2023. And I'm theming this one, the best year yet. What's your word? What's your theme for 2023? Have you been thinking about it yet? Or maybe have a thought about that over the break. Anyway, folks, really appreciate you hanging out, spending time, being there each morning with the Wealth Coffee Chats, and I look forward to doing more with you next year at the same time on the same bat channel, but we might freshen up the look. Anyway, there you go. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and bye for now.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. There you go. Hopefully you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me, folks, in the chat. I'm pretty sure I've got it worked out today. Hopefully the tech issues are sorted. Maybe. We'll see. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat, team. Good to see a bunch of you guys on this morning. Luke, Sharon, Adrian. Great to see you guys jumping on nice and early. What do they say? The early bird gets the worm. Fantastic to see all of you this morning. What are we going to talk about today? Hey, listen, just thinking about how we put together our portfolio is something I'm going to talk about today, and the times, the sequence we go ahead and do make the certain decisions are based on how our portfolio is put together, our base wealth, and I'm going to talk about that today. So hang around. We're going to talk a bit of a big picture strategy conversation today when it comes to your portfolio and when potentially you change gears into different ideas and things to make things a lot easier, simpler, safer as a property investor. So hang around for that. Tracy, good morning to you. Rodney, Brendan, Kylie, morning, Facebook user. Looks like you might be in one of our mentoring groups, our private Facebook groups. So say good day. Let us know who you are. Tim, Kelly, Sean. Great to have all of you on this morning. Welcome to the Wealth Coffee Chat. For those who don't know, you probably do already. There you go. Jason Witten's my name. This is a podcast. In the mornings, we go live. I go live. You guys hang out with me, which is awesome. Thank you. But it also gets turned into a podcast on Spotify and iTunes and other places. And you can always catch the replay in YouTube or in Facebook as well, team. So if you miss it, remember that. Make sure you put the notifications and stuff to get the notifications in the morning. Anyway, been property investing a while. If you're brand new to the channel, you're wandering by, if you're new to our mentoring and coaching program, say hello in the chat. Give us a shout out. Let us know where you're from. We've got people all over dialing in the mornings. Sometimes we even have Kevin from Lakeland, Florida. But we've got all people from all over Australia and New Zealand jumping on and saying good day each and every morning. So today we're going to talk about the idea of building our portfolio, our properties in a certain way, folks, in a certain way, so we can, do it safely and well to create some income. So that's what we're going to dive into today. So welcome, Chris, Nintendo, Melinda. Good to see you. Nice and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed this morning. Hey, let's have a look at it. There's 3 levels or layers that I want to talk to you guys about when it comes to building our property portfolio. We have to do these, from what I've seen, sitting with thousands and thousands of investors, to have a very solid, safe portfolio of real estate or any investing portfolio. We need to understand why and how to do these things in sequence, all right? So let's talk about this right now. Anyone want to try and guess? I'll let you guys have a little guess in the chat, maybe have a little look. Our first layer, our first world of financial acumen, understanding idea, is turning something we have into something we need to create wealth and income in the future. What do you guys think it might be? Something starts with E into something that starts with A. Chuck that in the chat for me right now. Every day we get up, we go to work, whether we've got a job or a business or whatever it is, we go out and we exchange some time, education. I like that, actually, education into actions. That's not bad, actually. Yeah. Luke, I might have to nick a few of those. Nintendo, equity. Well, that's actually true. Nintendo, but when we begin, the first step, often we don't have equity, energy into action, nice, equity into acquisitions. I love it. Wow, okay, cool. Well, what my little acronym was going to be, which I like all of those, they can, you turn what you earn, earnings into assets. Boom, Luke. Nice, man. So you go and earn some money. We exchange some time. We get some resources for that, usually in the form of cash flow. The best cash flow you'll ever have is having a good, steady job. And when you have a good, steady job, you should very simply manage your affairs to have some left over to create a deposit, your first deposit, which would then turn your earnings into assets, folks. Now I call this a foundational piece, all right? This is foundational piece. It's a foundational piece. Often, I have these conversations, especially with some people who are looking for something get rich quick and fast and whatever it might be. You know, they're trying to skip this thing. They're going, I only want to work 2 days a week, but I want to be a millionaire, right? Are you freaking kidding me, folks? Seriously, right? There is no shortcut to input and output when it comes to this stuff. Anyone who tell you, they work 1 day a week and they're killing it, they're lying, they're full of shit, right? Like I've heard it so many times, right? I don't do anything and I make all this money. What rubbish. I've been working and networking with entrepreneurs and people in the world of wealth creation for over 25 years. And I haven't met anyone who says, I work 4 hours a week and I'm killing it, right? Unless they sold a book, but then they sold the book and then they had to do tours around the world, which were way more than 4 hours a week to make it work. Anyway, a bit ranty. There we go. Hey, good morning, Lisa, Trace, Nintendo. All good to see you guys. So we have to turn our earnings into assets. Foundational. So the foundational piece, all of us here, well, most of us anyway, if you're mad like me, what are the assets are we turning our earnings into, folks? What are the assets we're turning our... So tell me, what are they? You tell me right now, what they are and maybe how many. Like, so dollars or whatever it might be. Because most of us here, that's a wobbly wall. Don't let me build your house. We are looking to turn our earnings into assets in the form of real estate. And there's other stuff obviously too, right? There's other stuff obviously too. However, for many of us who are on this journey together, Melinda, property, 6 to 7 properties. Fantastic, Melinda. I love it because this certainly applies to most of us. We might have a principal, a PPR, nice house, a few investment properties, and then we might have some other assets, some in our super, some shares, some other investments, and we might even have a property in our super. Some of us do. I do. I've got a couple of properties in my super. So we learn to turn what we earn into assets for the future, folks, which is super important to appreciate and understand, right? Okay. This is foundational. This is where your wealth becomes almost impenetrable, for your future. Okay. We must know that is important and it takes time. Wherever you are right now, if you go, right, I'm starting from zero today and I need to create a portfolio, a foundational wealth base, foundational of, 6 to 7 properties, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort. It's going to take some smarts. It's going to take some coaching and support from a 6-star team. It's going to take some time, okay? For all of us, unless you've been living under a rock, and this is maybe your first conversation with me, that we have this understanding together as property investors to create an amazing foundational earnings to assets piece and complete it will take some time, probably between 15 and 20 years to make it all happen. The acquisition part of it, that can take anywhere between 3 to 7 years to get this together. Everyone cool with that? All right. So turn what you earn. Earn more money through something you know very well and turn it into assets faster if you want to get there faster. Don't go, I'm going to stop earning and I'm going to go and learn to trade, I don't know, whatever it is. Anyway, that's just my world. That's just me. I think most of us are best at what we're doing already, but we don't have a plan, so we're not motivated by it. Anyway, let's go to the next part. We earn. Now we've created our asset base. What's the next part in our world? What are we starting to create here? Instead of earnings, which is time for money, now what do our assets earn, folks? Starts with P, and it's something that's important to us all. What are our assets now earning, right? Or creating? What is our assets creating? Yes, it's certainly creating wealth. Melinda, absolutely. It is absolutely creating wealth, but in the form of what? Starting with P. Your assets, passive income. I like that, Alison. But if we include the capital growth, the tax deductibility, the income of it, what would we call that? And we would call it profits, folks. Profits. Your assets now are creating profits in the form of passive income, in the form of capital growth, in the form of some tax efficiency, right? Your earnings turn into assets. Your assets create profits, which ultimately lead to major wealth, which is your passive income and your equity or net wealth. All right? your net wealth. Net wealth, what does net wealth mean? Chuck it in the chat if you want to play along. What does net wealth mean? Well, it means what value of assets you have. Let's talk properties. My properties are worth 3 million. What debts do you have on those properties? I've got a debt of 1.5 million. And now my net wealth is 1.5 million. So I'm debt free on 1.5 million of my assets. Okay? Earnings into assets. Assets create profits, which ultimately lead to wealth. What is wealth? Wealth is passive income, which you don't have to get up after tax and cost. Yep. Yeah, that's right, Trace. Passive income. Passive income, it creates equity, or more importantly, net wealth. Net wealth, right? So this part, once you have some net wealth, and technically, team, when your loan to value ratio here, let me just do this. Like we have a look at our portfolio over here. When your portfolio has an LVR, a loan to value ratio, tell me the number, percentage, when I would start to say you can go to the next level, which I call acceleration. The acceleration phase, let's go faster, let's create more, okay, acceleration phase. Tell me, your properties or value is worth a certain amount. Your net wealth is a percentage, a loan to value ratio of what your properties are worth. Tell me, what percentage, minimum percentage, Luke's already on it. Yeah, that's what I would say. Between 50 and 70%, and 70% is probably, getting up there, Tim, all right? However, lending, releasing and using your property's wealth and equity, you guys probably already know this, below 80%, that's not a percent, all right, 80%. So below 80% is where you can now accelerate using other, 20% you're not allowed to touch. Usually below 70% and 0 is a very comfortable place to be, to move into acceleration for your assets, okay? To move into acceleration, okay? So hopefully you're following along here and making some notes as we go along. Now, if we have a safety buffer of value and we can release and access to, Trace, you add up the value of your real estate. Let's say your real estate is, $3 million. You have $1 million worth of debt. You divide one by the other and it gives you your loan to value ratio. Okay, that'd be 33% or something like that. Okay. If you want some help with this is what our coaches do, obviously. Most of you are in the mentoring program, so talk to your coach about this. So now you have a net wealth. Now you want to, you've acquired the number of properties that's on your plan. You have a certain amount of net wealth now that is increasing, and it's working its magic. And now you want to move into the acceleration phase of the plan. Okay, the acceleration of the plan, and this is what I call understanding the higher risk. Understanding taking a higher risk to increase income. Okay, higher risk to increased income. Tell me, what would that be right now? And you guys, some of you guys, I know some of you guys have participated in one or two of these opportunities that we've created. What would be a higher risk to improve and increase your income. There's a couple of really simple ones right now. I could, tell me in the chat if you know what they might be. Yeah, the JVs, Melinda. Yeah, absolutely. Trace. Yep. So let's say your net wealth. Let's say right now, let's just do this, right? Let's say this is your portfolio, and you have a $3 million portfolio. You have $1 million worth of debt. 1 mil. And in the middle here, let's just say you could get access to $1 million, right? So it goes like this, right? Okay, my properties are worth 300, my debt's $1 million. Now let's say I take $100,000 out and I invest it and understand the investment carries a higher risk in comparison to regular straight 180 residential real estate, and I'm looking for a return of 15% or more, okay, on that $100,000. No leverage. You don't leverage on this thing. This is about getting a return, a cash on cash return with higher risk. Okay, Tim, absolutely. You could do your own subdivisions now. You could, if you've got enough equity, you could do your own property trading, buying and selling, renovating. So you could. I don't like renovating personally. I prefer, subdividing or building a little unit or something, little block of units. So how can we now safely? And this is the important part, team. This is just like, listen. This is the important part. Let's just say right now, let's say this is the situation. Someone's got 3 million, they've got 2 million net worth, they want to accelerate, they've arranged their finances so they can, and they do a deal. Let's say Tim says, all right, I'm going to subdivide a block of land, and I'm going to use some of my acceleration equity to do it. And let's just say it goes terribly, okay? And Tim dusts 100 grand. He dusts 100 grand. How would you feel about that? Tim, play along, mate. I wish. But if Tim had a crack, he was looking to accelerate, he knew there were risks, okay, but it didn't go his way, and it all went a bit pear-shaped and he dusted 100, okay? He dusted 100, right? So, it depends on, Trace, if you need to cover, interest costs, you need to add onto that 15%, and you need to understand what the taxable outcome might be, for sure. No risk without rewards. But let's just say it went wrong. Let's say it just went pear-shaped. Now, Tim's debt is 1.1 million, but he's still got a pretty good net wealth of 1.9. Is it everyone cool with that? Tim taking a risk at this stage didn't end Tim's world, okay? However, if Tim takes a risk, $100,000 risk, and that's all his net worth, at the start of this process, he went, no, you know what? I don't need this wealth base. I'll just go straight to something with high risk. Then the risk of Tim's acquisition phase, his wealth plan, the risk is really high in comparison to doing it at another phase. Okay? Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say here. Get your foundation in place. It's important to get your foundation done. Get those assets locked away. Now know that your profits are turning into wealth, and when that wealth is appropriately percentage LVR'd, you can accelerate that wealth safely, understanding some risks, okay? there you go. Anyway, I've gone over it today. Hopefully that was useful. Let me know in the chat if there's stuff that you want me to cover in our morning Wealth Coffee chats. But there you go. I thought we would talk about that today. Yep. Don't gamble your PPR. Absolutely not, Tim. Yep. Yep. You know, that's it. It's about leaving your home out of the long-term plan. Sometimes your personal PPR starts it, but within 3 to 5 years, you can, if you do this well, you can remove your principal place of residence out of the risk matrix of your portfolio, and away we go. All right, there you go, team. That's it. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted for today. You guys be awesome and well. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yep, minimising risk and managing safety. Exactly, Trace. Because we've been working for many years, sometimes decades, on creating, our wealth base. Just understand the risk that comes with accelerating these things and how to manage it. You're dead right, and minimise it, Trace. You're dead right, mate. All right, folks, that's it. Done and dusted. Wealth Coffee Chat over and out. You guys be awesome. Join me tomorrow, around about the same time, for another one. Be good. Adios.